economy the way that it is, selling feet pictures doesn't actually sound that bad. I feel like we all joke, like for years, we've all been joking about selling feet pictures. Don't tell me you haven't, because I know you have.
Said, damn, this going to work. I'ma start an OnlyFans, I'ma learn to twerk. I said, damn, this shit ain't for me. I'ma start selling pictures of my feet.
And honestly, I feel like I am uniquely positioned to do this type of video because a lot of people think that what I do on the internet is weird. People think that I am like selling drugs out of my basement or, you know, selling invisible things. But because I sell like things that they don't understand. But let me tell you, there are some weird things being sold on the internet we call ours. And feet pictures might honestly be the like least weird thing that I found doing research for this video. I actually went to ChatGPT and I was like, hey, what are some weird things that people sell on the internet that actually sell, like actual things people sell? And I wasn't ready, and neither are you. Hello, by the way. Welcome. Hit subscribe. You're gonna love this. By the way, I'm not shitting on any of these ways to make money. We're going to talk about some weird things. We're going to talk about some things that may be a little controversial. We're going to talk about some things that you probably wouldn't do and I probably wouldn't do. Somebody out there's doing them, and I'm not shitting on them. I am here for a resourceful king or queen out there trying to make money. You know, that's actually like my story really as like a human, and how I got to the point where I was an entrepreneur and a creator and all the things, because I'm resourceful as heck. And if I want to make X amount of money, or if I want to have X goals and it's going to take X money to get there, don't worry, I'm going to find a way. So just know I'm not shitting on any of these, even if I make jokes about them. So there's my disclaimer. And actually, you'll see later in the video that I had a real reaction to one of the things I found, and I was like jealous that I hadn't thought about this. I was like, oh my gosh, how have I not thought about this? Because it's brilliant. I mean, people have been selling weird stuff forever, right? Like my mom used to drag me to yard sales every weekend. I don't know if it was every weekend. It felt like every weekend to me. Probably wasn't. But like there was some weird stuff at these yard sales. Like nobody wants your hairbrush, grandma, with the hair still in it. I mean, maybe they do, but like people have been selling weird stuff for forever. But obviously with the internet, we can do this a little more. And by the way, if you're wondering, I have never attended a yard sale as an adult. It scarred me for life. I don't ever want to do it. And nope, absolutely not. One time when I was at my corporate job, which would have been like 15 plus years ago, we had a customer who had a lot of pet rats. Yes, like rats. And he sold OnlyFans style content. He was like an innovator. It was before his time. He sold like OnlyFans style content, or like tried to get people to answer his Craigslist ad to do these types of things with him and his rats on Craigslist. So, and you know, honestly, I wish I was joking. I'm not. My niece is in college. She's a freshman in college, and she's trying to decide between like a practical major or a more like artistic major. And beyond anything else, I'm always like, go do what you want to do, right? But even more so when I'm recording this video, I want to say, girl, people are selling on the internet. Do whatever the hell you want to do. If you enjoy it, you can make money with it. I feel like feet pictures and OnlyFans accounts are kind of where most people go when they think of like weird things on the internet. But honestly, I wanted to know if you could actually make money. Now, I know you can with OnlyFans because I've seen people talk about it, but I'd never actually seen somebody talk about selling feet pictures. There's this article from Business Insider where they interviewed someone in 2022 who was selling feet pictures, and she never overtly says how much she makes, but she does say it's like enough to help her have extra spending money and that kind of thing. But in that article and in my research, I realized that you sell feet pictures on a website called feetfinder.com. And then also, I think you can also do it on OnlyFans. We'll talk about that in a second. But so feetfinder.com is interesting. And you can sell feet pictures and you can buy feet pictures on there. So like, okay, whatever. And I love how they, like, on their website, they promote it as remote work, which it is. They're not lying. But that's super interesting. But on their website, they say that the average picture sells for like $18 and you have unlimited like sales of that. So, I mean, I guess there could be a pretty decent amount of money made there, right? If you sell 100 feet pictures in a month, that's $1,800 on average. And like, you know, that's going to pay most people's like rent or something. So like, I don't know. Okay, maybe there is something to this, you know? But I did do a little bit more research and I was like, how do they actually, like, how do you market this? Like, do you create an Instagram account and like just post pictures of like teaser pictures, like of your feet blurred out? You're like, want to see the whole thing over here? Like, I don't know how you market this. But it appears that there are foot fetish subreddits that are used to market feet finder accounts. So if you want to know how to do that, I'll just give you that piece of information and you do with it what you will, because we listen and we don't judge. And remember a second ago when I was like, I know people are making money from OnlyFans because I've seen people talking about it. First of all, you can also sell your feet pictures on OnlyFans from everything I read. But second of all, OnlyFans goes way beyond feet pictures. You know, use your imagination there. And one time I saw this girl, and her name is Tara's World on TikTok. I saw her posting about being like an OnlyFans influencer or whatever. And then I saw an interview with her where she said she was making something like $300,000 a month from her OnlyFans.
Well, how much are you railing in on OnlyFans?
So now it's like 350 a month. It's insane.
Are you
crazy.
serious?
Listen, she's definitely selling more than feet pictures, but that tells you right there what kind of money can be made. And honestly, like, as much as I want to be like, get that bag, girl, and I am, if somebody actually wants to do this, right? I don't love that OnlyFans, it feels like, and there's definitely some proof out there, that it could be a predatory site too. Like, people could be putting pictures and videos of people up that aren't aware of what's being put up, but also there could be predators who are forcing women to do things on OnlyFans. So I don't know. I definitely don't want to promote it, and I don't want to like tell you how to do it. But in a video about the weird things that you sell on the internet, I felt like I had to include it. It's honestly mind-blowing to me that we would lose TikTok before we would lose a site that's been proven to be predatory and have like children creating inappropriate content and has been used in human trafficking. But I digress. When I came up with this topic, I was like, you know, I know I want to talk about feet pictures, because that's how it came up, was, oh my gosh, people sell pictures of their feet on the internet and make money, and like, okay, how much can they make? And I want to know, and like, what does this look like? Because that's how my brain works. But I knew there was other weird stuff that people sold on the internet. So I went to ChatGPT. I was like, hey, what are some weird things that people sell on the internet that actually work? And when I tell you, it didn't even mention OnlyFans or feet pictures. And the things it did mention left my jaw on the floor. I ain't even playing. Wait, people sell air? like air? Is this real? LakeComoAir.it is canned. Let me show you. Like canned air. There's an entire Etsy store. What? They're beautiful cans. So this one's this one's like canned air from Salt Lake City, and the ingredients on the back say air formula, 20% Temple Square, so they got 20% of it from the Temple Square in Salt Lake, 10% from the Gateway, 10% from Capitol Hill, 20% Big Cottonwood Canyon, 10% Hogle Zoo, 10% Liberty Park, 10% Liberty Square, and 10% Joseph Smith Memorial Building. This is hysterical. Like, people are actually selling cans of air. And this is marketed super well. Like, I have to say, this is pretty good. I'm gonna make sure that we can get back to that one. So this is my favorite thing we're gonna talk about. My favorite thing. I'm jealous that I did not come up with this. But ChatGPT was like, hey girl, people sell air on the internet. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like oxygen for oxygen tanks? No, like cans of air from a particular place or with a particular like purpose. Okay. So I did a little Google, and there was an NBC article about how Lake Como sells air from the tourist destination, like in Italy. So you can't technically buy this one on the internet, but you can buy others, and I'll show you those in a minute. But there's literally a website, like lakecomoair.it is the website, and it tells you where you can buy it. So if you want, you can buy it in Lake Como, you can buy it in all these other places. I'm not super familiar with where these places are, but you can buy this air, and supposedly it's air from this place, and it's $11. So like, you know, cool, buy your air, you know? And I really got to thinking about this, and I was like, wait, people buy air? Like, would you do this? Because then what are you going to do with it? You know? So is it just a souvenir? Is it, like, will you open it when you want to, like, I don't know, smell Lake Como again? Like, what is the reason? And I never really could get a good answer on that. But again, get your bag. We're not here to judge. But this next site that I found of people selling air, I found an Etsy listing that was like canned air from New York. And they're beautiful cans. They're super inexpensive. This store has a ton of reviews. And I was like seriously jealous that I didn't think of this. Cause like, what a good gag gift, but also like, they're kind of cute and pretty to look at. Cool. Okay. All right. Now we're getting into weird things you can sell on the internet, you know? I feel like y'all heard the story of the girl who was selling farts in a jar. And I don't know, is that included in the air section of this video, or should I have included that in the feet section because it's probably like a weird kink? I don't know. But y'all, when you're making 1 million sales of a $6 fart in a jar or can of air, you're doing something right. And just to get it out of the way, because I don't want to give it much time, but while we're talking about kinks again, you can also sell your dirty, like your used undergarments. There are places to do that. I only found one. I was afraid to go a little deeper there, but I did find a site in the UK where you could sell those things. So there's that. And as I went down this rabbit hole of the things that ChatGPT gave me, I also kept finding other weird things. Like the hole kept getting deeper. That's what she said. Because like, are you afraid nobody will show up to a funeral? You can hire a mourner. And when I read this, I died because like, of course you can hire a mourner because we can hire like a bridesmaid. We can hire a date. We can hire all of these things, but hiring a mourner, Luke from Gilmore Girls probably should have done that for his Uncle Louie's funeral. There's a girl on TikTok that I saw years ago that sells like name your baby services. Actually, I think there's like several name your baby things, people who sell that as a service. And I mean, if you have an affinity for naming babies, like, cool. I mean, we've all got our own set of skills, you know? I want to save a big one that's more like real until the end, but kind of circling back to the air in a can thing. Did you know that you could buy nothing on Amazon? Like nothing. Like you go on Amazon and you search for nothing and you can get a package that's like what are those things called? It's not bubble wrap, like a sealed plastic package. There's a word for that. Anyway, there you get one of those packages that's basically nothing. It's like a bubble and there's nothing in it but air. And so you're buying nothing and people sell it. Like it's got reviews. This particular listing has 386 reviews. So clearly people are buying it. I mean, honestly, it's not that bad it's actually a pretty cool gag gift. Like I might buy some of these packets of nothing and then also some of those cans of air for Dirty Santa gifts moving forward because, I mean, like I say, I think it's brilliant. Then as I scroll down my list of ChatGPT ideas for things sold on the internet, it said cursed items. Cursed items. It appears that eBay is probably your best bet to go to buy a cursed item. But there are other websites like this one in the UK that is specifically to source and sell cursed items. But if we go to eBay and like the heading, I just typed in buy cursed items on Google. And then this is where it took me on eBay. And there's a vintage rare Ouija board, a paranormal ghost hunting equipment, which I guess isn't actually cursed. It's going to help you find the things. A haunted box for $100. A haunted box. Oh, let's see what it says. Haunted box, warning, conjured evil, some kind of ceremony that Rosicrucian ceremony, paranormal. There's not a good description for it though. Like, I don't know. Okay, let's go find another haunted box. I want one with like a good description. Oh, here is a haunted box for $300. Here's one for $50. Why are there not like good descriptions of these? I want to know how we know it's haunted. Like I wouldn't want to buy it without, oh, there it is. Okay. So for experienced collectors only who know how to protect themselves spiritually, do not open. A box from a friend that passed away suspiciously. Backstory. I'm sorting through her belongings that were given to me. She was into witchcraft and these dark entities that she messed with were troubling her. And she was involved in conjuring spirits and binding them. This is a small box. This small box is approximately this size. It has a symbol on top that appears to be some kind of primitive figure or being. It has been waxed closed and is made of wood. I can hear that there are some kind of physical contents in the box, but I don't know what, because this person's like, I ain't buying over than this. Since bringing it home, I am feeling like I'm being watched and I'm hearing lots of unexplained noises, bangs and tapping noises that I can't explain. I'm not responsible for anything that happens if you take this. I'm also not responsible for anything that happens if you ignore my plea not to open it. And then, their legal disclaimer. For entertainment purposes, tangible item, per eBay's rules, I cannot guarantee activity or communication from entity. Every person and their ability to connect is different. Listen, if I had somebody who I was like, you know what, I'd really like to curse you. I'd really like to put a curse on you. I feel like you can't even put a price on that. Like $50 to curse my enemy? Let's do it. And last but not least, we have to talk about NFTs. I feel like these died, thank goodness, in like 2021, 2022. But they were all the rage for a minute. And I'm not saying they won't come back. Like NFTs probably will come back at some point. Thank goodness they died for now, in my opinion. And if you're like, what's an NFT? I'm going to explain this the best way I know how to explain it because it is a little bit complicated. But it stands for non-fungible token, okay? And these are digital things, generally art. Like if you can think of like digital art, okay? Because we can buy digital art off Etsy. Think of something like that. But they're purchased and sold with cryptocurrencies. Like you don't really use real money to buy them, even though you have to buy cryptocurrency with real money. So that was always confusing to me. But so these are things that are like digital assets and you can then like resell them. So like if you have a piece of art, if I had like a big piece of art behind me in my office and it was worth a lot of money, I could resell that, but I'd have to like give them the physical thing, blah, blah, blah. NFTs are kind of the same thing. So if I wanted to buy this piece of art, it's digital. It's stored on like a cloud and I buy it with not real money that I had to buy with real money. And then if I want to sell it, I can do that. Like they could appreciate, they could depreciate, that kind of thing. The best example I can give you is, let's say that you went to a Taylor Swift concert, right? And you have your ticket that you purchased on the internet to the Taylor Swift concert. You have all these souvenirs of the things that you got from the Taylor Swift concert. And then let's say that they also gave you, and this was a real thing, a lot of people did it. They also gave you an NFT ticket. So now this was like a collector's item that you could sell in exchange and, keep in this like NFT style situation. We're looking at things like land in the metaverse as an NFT. I think. I could be wrong. Like, I think that falls into the NFT category because it's kind of the same thing. But like, if you need 20 acres of land in the metaverse, you can do that. I say that NFTs died, but Business Insider just did an article like this year in 2025 already on NFTs, so what they are and all the things, and I'll make sure it's linked below. But clearly it's still a thing. And I will say I went to a couple conferences where NFTs and the metaverse and like all of this blockchain cryptocurrency world was very prominent. It was very much so like a topic of conversation. And I don't doubt at all that it will come back. But the only real people I saw getting excited about it back then were like the guru guys who wear funny colored like blue light blocking glasses 24/7 and probably defended the Fire Festival owners. They were the people that I really saw pushing this, but I think it was just so far-fetched that people couldn't like grasp on. Like you're going to have a pretty big market for this type of thing for them to become a thing. But at one of these conferences that I was at, I had this guy come up to me and he had his phone and he was like, "Let me show you this motorcycle I bought." And I was like, okay. And no, it wasn't a real motorcycle. It was like a cartoon motorcycle. I still don't understand it, but it was like a cartoon motorcycle. And because it was like a limited edition, it reminded me of digital Pokemon cards. Like, if we're being honest. So it was like a limited edition. So to the people who were collecting NFTs, this was a big thing. And he paid like thousands of dollars for this like digital motorcycle. It was interesting. It was interesting. And I guess that is like my best way to explain it. You know how people collect and sell like Pokemon cards? And no shame, again, I'm not trying to yuck your yum if that's you, right? But I don't get it, because Pokemon cards are not something that I see value in. But there's the whole group of people who do, right? They're like, oh my gosh, this is a rare Pokemon card or whatever. And like, I remember back in the day when it was like baseball cards and football cards and stuff, that like sport cards that you could like, this is a rare one and then you can sell it and whatever. So that, but digital. Everything's digital. So I think it took a very specific audience to want to care, and nobody was trying to tap in other audiences. So I think that's why it kind of fizzled out. But people were paying millions of dollars for NFTs. Millions. The most expensive NFT ever sold was sold in 2021 for $91.8 million. It was called The Merge. And as far as I can tell, it was just a compilation of digital art that you could continue contributing to or unlocking. I don't know. The verbiage around it was kind of confusing, but you could continue to do stuff to it to make it more expensive, make it more valuable. I would love. We are 3.5 years past the sale of this thing, or like 3 years past the sale of this thing. I'd love to know what they're doing with it, because again, it's not really a thing anymore right now. I think AI came in, like the conversation was NFTs and metaverse and all of that kind of stuff. And then AI came in and like squashed that conversation. Like, I think that's what happened. Honestly, if I were like a guessing woman, because I have nothing to back that up. I think AI came in and was like, hey, we're gonna take over the conversation, and everybody in that same camp, but then also a bigger audience, got into the AI thing. For me, NFTs, I could not have cared less about, like, honestly. Like, I was not going to get excited about a digital motorcycle, and nobody was trying to get my, like, a millennial woman into that market, other than like the millennial women who are like super techie and like really want to be in things like that, which I am here for. But like there was no real expanding that market, where AI, I think, took over the conversation. And by the way, I'm not saying they're the same thing at all, like not even remotely. But I think AI took over the minds of people who were concerned about NFTs and things like that. So their focus changed. And then because AI is more broad scoping, like I told you throughout this whole video that I've used ChatGPT to figure out like what I'm talking about here. AI is like more useful and the conversation is more useful to a broader scope of people that I think it just kind of smothered the conversation about NFTs. Will they come back? Maybe. But, when I tell you that going to a conference and hearing a man stand on stage and get way too excited about selling and buying acres of land in the metaverse, it was a real thing. It was a real thing. I think we're in a weird time where we can make money with lots of weird things on the internet, whether it's like a service, like name your babies, or, you know, pictures of your body parts, or things that have been on your body parts, or air that's been in your body, or digital land. We're in like a weird time to make money in unconventional ways. But like, how beautiful is that too? Because like the possibilities are freaking endless. If you're an artist selling your art online, totally possible as like a digital thing. And let this just serve as like a no idea is too crazy kind of message. Because the internet is a weird place and it's getting weirder day by day.